Good morning. I'd like to call the regularly scheduled meeting of the Board of Selectmen to order. It is now Monday, October 6, 2014. It is now 8:30. First order of business is the Pledge of Allegiance. I'd like to ask Selectman Balistraci to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Paul. Item 2 is a presentation by Veronica Wallace to the Board of Selectmen on behalf of United States Representative Rosa DeLauro, Congresswoman DeLauro. Veronica. Good morning. Welcome.
I don't know how you want to do this.
Any way you like.
I'm Veronica Wallace, 386 North River Street, and I'm chairman of the Guilford 375th Anniversary Committee. And on behalf of the Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro, I have a presentation to make to the First Selectman and the Board on her behalf of the U.S. House of Representatives, the 113th Congress, second session. And it's quite lengthy, so I won't read it all. It just is honoring the town of Guilford for its anniversary, and it is her honor as the United States Representative for Guilford for the last 24 years. She is proud to have this opportunity to extend her heartfelt congratulations to every member of this special community as they celebrate their 375th anniversary. As the community continues to grow, it will do so while maintaining its unique character, charm, quintessentially New England. Happy anniversary.
Thank you.
I just wanted to make that presentation.
Thank you. Veronica, don't go because I think congratulations are owed to you and your committee.
Thank you.
For an excellent job. I think it took about two and a half years.
32 months.
32 months. You did an outstanding job
Thank you.
heading that committee,
Yep.
fundraising and putting the events together and the execution of those events, and we're indebted to all your hard work.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
On behalf of my committee, thank you. We did a good job.
You got that, Mike? Okay, great. You can get it later. Thank you.
It's good to know the 113th Congress
Did something. Please note that Gary said that. Okay, item 3, public forum, limited to 3 minutes on any agenda item. Anyone wishing to address the board on any agenda item? Seeing none, we'll move on to item 4, which is the approval of 2 sets of minutes. Excuse me, 4.1, approval of minutes for the September 15th, 2014 regular meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any additions or corrections? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Minutes approved. Item 4.2, approval of the special meeting minutes of September 19th, 2014. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, any additions or corrections?
Is Joe still a commissioner,
Joe,
Dunsmore?
yes, he is. He's a commissioner.
He was
but not
listed as
chairman.
others, so we might list him as a commissioner.
That's one correction, okay. Any other corrections? Okay. Seeing none, I'll call for a vote to approve the minutes as corrected. All those in favor?
Aye.
One abstention.
An abstention. Okay, thank you. Item 5, Deputy Police Chief Jeff Hutchinson. 5.1, consider and take possible action, ammunition purchase for the police department.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
How you doing, Chief?
Good. So every year we need to purchase both training and duty rounds for the officers. I think the material was sent forward to you. Our armorers and firearms training officers did a lot of research to narrow down the cheapest prices. A lot of the ammo is going to come from what's Jurek Brothers, which is a state contracted vendor. And as we know, sometimes the state contract isn't always the cheapest price, but in this particular case, it is for the particular type of ammunition that we're buying from them. So what we're requesting to do is break down the purchase of our ammunition and simunition. Simunition is more of our training rounds, which are used for live practice. It's basically rounds that don't hurt you. So those come out of special weapons that are designed the same as ours, and they shoot rounds that can allow us to practice live for active shooter training and things like that. So what we're requesting to do is purchase ammunition and simunitions from 2 different vendors, one of whom is already under state contract. That's Jurek Brothers. And the Jurek Brothers request is for $11,200. And the AAA police supply would be a total of $91.70 between the training ammunition and the simunitions. Both of those were researched for the best prices we could get. Several vendors were reviewed, all the material was sent to purchasing, and per policy, we're coming here to look for your approval.
Did you say 9170?
It's $67.52 plus $23.18 for the simunition.
Okay, because I have the memo we have is 9070.
070.
Maybe my math was wrong.
Okay.
Yes, 9070, I'm sorry.
Okay,
I got,
just want to make sure that if we needed the extra 100, we give it
yes,
to you.
yeah.
Okay,
No, 9070.
okay, great.
I would move that we approve the request for ammunition as presented.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
You can get some water? Okay, item 6, the Fire Chief, Charles Hershaft, discuss and take possible action to award bid 5-1415, mobile generator for the fire department. I believe those bids came in higher than budgeted, and is the chief withdrawn?
Yeah, he's not gonna award, there was only one bid, and it was over his budget, so.
Okay, so we're gonna withdraw this from the table. Okay, we're not tabling, we're just withdrawing from the agenda. Okay. Is there any discussion on that? No, okay, we'll just take it off the agenda.
Okay.
Okay. Item 7.1, Energy Task Force, Mr. Fred Volker. Morning, Fred, how are you?
Morning.
Consider and take possible action to approve agreement between Connecticut Light and Power and the town of Guilford for the Bright Light Idea Grant to be used for the installation of an electric charging station in the town, and authorization for the first selectman to sign the agreement, which you have in front of you, okay? Morning.
Yeah, I would like to propose the purchase and construction of an electric vehicle charging station. We have located a place where to put it, and that would be here on the parking lot behind the town hall. Jim Portley looked at our ideas, and he came up with a good location which would be cheap, or in his opinion the best solution. You have a picture which I think I sent you. You do. And there would have to be the power head would have to come from this shed on the left. Okay.
Can you see that, Mike? That's the shed, and here's the power station, okay? Got it, okay.
Yeah, but the last one is actually the EV charging station itself. It has 2 little lamps on each side. Those lamps are not part of it. This is for Madison, and Madison installed those in addition. So there is an estimate to install these for $10,832. In addition to that, we need another $5,000, which we don't have budgeted right now. So to complete to get the cable from the shed to the charging station. So that's that's where I see the problem, because there's no money from our source. We have $10,000 grant from the from the state, which we can use, but we still need $5,000. And I have no idea where we can get it at this time. Maybe we have to budget, maybe we have to do whatever. Maybe you have a good idea.
So, and also the electricity comes, the town would be supplying the electricity.
We
and
can,
not Valley, which
right
is
now,
fine, yeah.
you know, at the beginning, that's probably what we
Yeah.
might want to do.
Yeah.
But we can easily switch it around to charging.
Oh, okay.
See, what happens now, you know, I'm looking at the one in Madison,
Yeah.
and they're giving electricity for free at the
Okay.
beginning.
Yes,
But you still have to use your credit card to get in.
okay, so
But it doesn't
eventually-
charge, they don't charge anybody right now. But it can be switched within minutes
Okay,
to charge any amount you want.
right.
But I would propose we also do no charge
Right,
for a
just to
year or
get people
two.
used to it, yeah.
Yeah,
And see what kind of activity, I mean,
yeah, and they seem to get activity. You know, people that have electric vehicles have an app on their iPhones, and they know where these places
right,
are.
right.
And on the highway, you can see signs on I-95 that says EV station and sign and so on.
Right.
How long would a car be parked there to get charged?
But it depends on your car. If you have a Tesla, it probably takes forever.
I mean, is there a potential for lines?
It's what?
Is there a potential for lines?
For lines.
Lines
Oh,
of cars.
Well, not at this time, I'm afraid, because we don't have enough EV vehicles yet in the state of Connecticut. But eventually, yeah.
But we're hoping that the usage grows.
Well, the idea
And
is
this
to
location in the center of
stimulate-
a parking lot makes some sense for 6 months, a year from now, and
Yeah, I mean, number one, we want to promote the concept of electric vehicles. And number two, the reason why we put it there is because maybe the town of Guilford will have electric vehicles. And they could charge their vehicles, or we could charge our vehicles there overnight.
Okay.
and there's enough room parking. Isn't this the parking for social services?
But this morning, there was only one car parked there. I looked.
Well, they're not open yet.
Yeah, but
They park one row over generally.
Okay.
there's a gen.
I just thought from that curbstone to the shed was kind of like their parking for both them and the people that use their services, and if we're talking, I'm just concerned that we're either gonna be in the driveway or using up some parking places that are fairly valuable to that department.
Well, can we designate one parking spot?
Two.
Two? Okay, so,
You really
Every
only
two-
have two because you have two
Nozzles.
nozzles.
oh,
So the
okay.
maximum you have is two, unless, as you point out, you have waiting people.
Oh.
But presumably if they're waiting, they're in.
Oh, you know, you said a Tesla would take forever, but what about,
Normal,
Those
the Prius or whatever, BMW probably takes 4 hours, depending on the
the car
charge.
would be
Well,
parked there
the-
for 4
The
hours?
theory, Charlie, is that if you're traveling, you would stop, fill up partially while you were
Okay, how long
shopping.
is that fill up partially?
Well, it depends how far down you are. If you're half
If you're
full,
traveling,
Maybe
and
an
you
half
out-
full, it would be 2 hours. But, you know, if you were
So
going
we're talking
over.
about cars parked in these two spots, in the lot here, in the driveway, for somewhere from an hour to 4 hours.
We should assume that these two spots are reserved for charging. People may go to the library, people may go for dinner, people may go anywhere, you know, play on the green. So these two spots should be reserved and will be reserved for the charging station.
Joe, have you asked the,
So services understands that?
yeah,
I haven't asked specifically social services, but Jim Portley thought those are the best spots. We
I
will
think
use
that-
2 spots on that
I
whole
think
parking.
most of the volume at Youth and Family Services is evening, which means that the bank
I don't know.
parking is
I mean,
not-
frankly, I don't know, but the fact that you haven't asked them,
Yeah.
you know, sends up a red flag, number one. And number two, I just want to make sure that we've thought this through, because, you know, I didn't realize it takes an hour to 4 hours. I mean, I thought I was stupid. I should have-
Like you
I
thought-
mean, you pull into your garage at night, you plug it in and go home, but this is for people, quote-unquote, traveling, to get
Or if they
free
maybe live or
energy
place
Top
they
for
can-
their trip.
Or topping off.
Yeah, but topping off is an hour.
I don't think people will go there for charging only and wait until it's charged.
Well, that's what's
You're
got
hoping
me
they
Go there to
concerned.
the
that-
library, they go
that's what-
there to.
That's my point. So they're going there to park for the afternoon.
Yeah, I mean, these two spots
And
are
that,
taken.
does social services understand that? And do we understand that in this parking lot, that's what we're going to do in the driveway? Just so we know. I mean, it's one thing to think it's a great idea, it's another thing to ask the people that are going to be affected.
Can people park next to it? Behind it? I mean, this
Fine,
whole
but,
parking lot is available
Of
for
course they
parking
are, but
cars.
are they being directed there and encouraged to use those parking places?
Those two, but there are others.
No, you said random people could use it. Yes, of course they're available and anybody could use it, but with something like this, you're drawing people off the highway to use it.
But what about, maybe you could find out, Gary, were you working with them on this? Maybe talk to Lynn and see how many spaces they use during the day
Please
and the
ask the
evening, if
question.
there's extra spaces, and then they could designate these spaces as fill-ups if it's not gonna overburden their situation. Like if she says, oh no, there's lots of spaces, we just wouldn't use these two.
Well, can I make a suggestion? We can't do this until we collect or
Find
find
another
another
$5,000 anyway, yeah.
So and I don't think we have to table it, but if we put it off for a month.
It'd be worth
It'll
asking.
give us time to ask the questions, but it also, we can
Gotta
figure
find
out
the
if we
money.
have the money,
Right.
Yeah, that makes
or
sense.
where we get it from.
Yeah, I mean, we're not trying to discourage it, we're just trying to make sure that we've thought it through completely, especially by the people that are going to be affected.
I want to ask a question about the financial aspect of it. The credits we earn that we were going to use for other projects, can we use for, offset this $5,000?
No, that's what this is.
That's
This is the
what this is.
$10,000 Bright Idea
Okay,
Grant.
okay.
So this is that $10,000 credit that we have
Well, this is it.
banked for use.
This is it.
My recollection, and I was, when you guys met the last time, I was out of town, but my recollection is this all started with the woman at Perk on Church who had gotten a grant,
Right.
which is the one that Madison used, which is why it's free, because that grant required that the town provide 3 years of free energy. And that was tied to that specific grant. That one has expired, but I thought that Karen had done some research and there were some additional programs that were anticipated to come into play. And I haven't talked to Karen. All
right, so we have to find out.
So
Sounds
it's
like it.
possible that there could be additional grant money in place to finish this off.
There could be.
So we need to find that out as well.
We need to find that
And
out.
I also, I
as
thought we were
exact-
gonna locate it over by Perk on Church, over
There-
at the.
No, there's no room.
There's no parking there.
No?
There's no room.
Okay.
The landlord there said,
No, I
way."
meant like over at the community center, remember?
Particularly
We were
with the
talking about-
kiosk there,
That's
believe
what I
me, there's
thought.
going to be no room there.
Yeah.
I know, I thought it'd be nice to have that whole visitor thing.
But the reason why we chose the parking lot behind Town Hall is because we could plug in
Right,
town cars.
right,
Right.
right. No,
Overnight.
I think I don't think it's a problem.
That's a
That- I
logical
mean,
thing if we
depending on the other
continue to
stuff.
think it through.
Actually, I'm in favor of putting it somewhere in the town hall parking lot, because with more businesses moving down in and around the green, we're kind of stretched for parking spaces as it is, and I don't want to put it near the green to tie up a lot of parking spaces. So
One of
I
the
would,
options was putting it out here on
That's
the
right.
green, because
And I
there
would
is an
favor-
electrical, but you have a security issue and you have a parking issue.
I would favor the spaces in the town hall parking lot, because a lot of times there are a lot of open spaces in the town hall parking lot. But if it requires a little bit more investigation and analysis, I would say we can hold it off for a month. That certainly is.
Yeah, I would almost
Viable.
think this corner, just before you turn around the corner to Town Hall South, there's a little grass area, and then there's a row of employee cars or town cars that park along the back of the church, in other words. I would think that island there might make a little more sense in that you can go on either side. I don't
You
know.
gotta-
See,
You
the
need-
only
you need
problem-
power. You need a power
You need
cable.
to run cable. That's the issue. But let's
We cannot use an electric lamp. The power of a lamp, for instance,
You gotta
asked
run
that-
it from the shed, you know, what difference does it make where you run it to? You know, you gotta run power, of course you have to have power.
Jim's here if you want to answer that. He's looking like he wants to answer.
Jim, do you have a comment on that, Jim?
Yeah, the reason we put it where it was is we won't have to disrupt the pavement. We can come under grass areas right to the location of this facility. If we put it where, we're talking about in the rear of this other area, parking lot, we'd have to start cutting up the pavement. You're gonna drive the price up. You also have then conflicting underground utilities going to town, from town hall to town hall
Across the
south.
line.
So it's drive the prices up.
Well,
When was the last time, Jim, that we looked at sort of the configuration of parking? I know we have these parking experts that come in and that they figure out how to
Well,
add,
we redid the whole parking lot, oh, God, back, must be 20 years ago now. And then we repaved it, that was all done, we put drainage in, probably 1992 or 3.
do you think it's the most efficient configuration?
Yeah, we went through many iterations to try to.
And you didn't talk,
maximize.
did you talk to social services, Jim, at all about their
They were,
parking?
I'm not even sure they were in, oh, with this, well, we're not gonna impact them. They have their parking spaces for their building. We're not in that area.
Oh, see, so that answers that.
We're in the
Where are
main
you if
part.
We're
Not
a
in
couple
their
rows
area.
out, we're a couple rows, this is a
Oh,
couple
all right,
rows
see,
out.
so that answers that. Thank you, Jim.
You're welcome.
Picture here.
So now we're back to the money, maybe.
There's another row behind that.
There's another row behind.
There's another row behind that picture, another row of
Immediately.
parking.
And hopefully they'll come to the green and spend lots of money at our shops,
We'll have
eat at our
3 hours.
restaurants. That's what we want.
I remember bringing buses in.
So the consensus is that we're discussing using the grant, doing some more research on other sources of funds and
Just confirming the
talking
location.
about it
Yeah.
in about a month.
So I would, if it's the pleasure of this board, I would entertain a motion to table it and do a little bit more research on it and then bring it up
research on finding funds.
and
Yeah.
find funds.
You are,
And just confirming the location. I mean, just,
yeah.
So I would, I would hold it off for, not next meeting, but next month's meeting. If that's the pleasure of the board, somebody want to make a motion?
so moved.
Okay, is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
I have just one more comment, Jim is here. Jim, in your discussion of this, okay, I'm repicturing this where this is, and it seems to me it's more up in the driveway. Did you realize that cars will probably be parked there from 1 to 4 hours? 2 cars.
And once it gets dedicated to this use, my understanding is nobody else can use it anyway, so what, really.
I didn't know if this is, I'm trying to figure out whether it's gonna be in the driveway side or in the parking side, but you considered the length of time that a car will be parked there?
Yes.
Okay.
Good.
The other thought, and I don't know the answer to this, but with some of the energy saving things that we've done with energy on lights and using LEDs and whatever, we might be coming up on another bright idea grant. I don't know the answer to that, but, you know,
Well,
as we
that's-
accumulate
that's why it's
points
worth
for
looking
energy saving, the
Yes.
state issues
But-
these grant.
But we have to
things.
make sure that we don't lose this grant.
Yeah.
That's right.
Is there a time limit?
there-
Like,
I'm not 100% sure, I don't know.
Trace, would you,
Appreciate your work, though.
would you earmark this for November's meeting? Okay, thanks. Thank you, Fred.
thank you,
Appreciate it.
Fred.
We'll have you back here on November.
All right,
Okay?
see you then.
Okay. Item 8, Town Engineer Jim Fortley, 8.1, discuss and take possible action to approve vendor for replacement of overhead doors for the old Public Works garage.
Good morning. Good morning.
The man behind the camera.
And
The
maybe-
voice behind the
just
camera.
voice, yeah, voiceovers. Okay, we got three prices for the new overhead doors. 11,971 from Walter Williams, advanced overhead door 12,742, and East Coast overhead door 13,810. They're all based on the same specification. This is part of the renovations of the whole Public Works building. And, certainly much really needed. Our recommendation is that we award the contract to Walter Williams for $11,971. Project that was earmarked in our budget.
So
hopefully
moved.
can go forward.
Second.
Any discussion on the motion?
I understand we need the door. I still think this is the lowest and worst use of this building in town, but I've expressed that before.
Well, we still need a door. for now.
But we still need a door as long as we have it.
Any further discussion on the motion? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous, thank you. 8.2, consider and take possible action to approve a vendor for the purchase of plow blades.
This was an interesting one. Go out and getting prices for plow blades. Janelco has been a supplier for us for a long time. They have given us a price for our 11-foot plow blades, $155, which is the best price. Their price for the 9-foot plow blades is somewhat higher than a second price we got from East Coast Sign and Supply. They quoted $95. We contacted East Coast Sign and Supply and said, oh, we'll just order the 9-footers from you. And I said, no, we got a big supply of 9-footers that somebody returned to us from last year. This is a kind of a one-time deal. You know, we'll give you the $95 price if, you know, tied to the other one. You know, the other one was a little bit higher, $157.50 for the 11-footers. They wouldn't negotiate. They wouldn't. You know, they would take one to take the other. You know, kind of a deal. And then they wouldn't give us any real background on the quality of steel on the 9-footers. And I advised our guys, I don't want to play that game. I don't know what, they might have been returned for a reason that we don't know about. I don't want to buy a pig in a poke for a few bucks. Janelco is a plow blade we've used all along. The steel is a highway grade steel for plow blades. I would recommend we stay with Janelco and issue the requisition for $13,150.
I'll move that.
Second. Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. Jim, how often do we replace these blades? I assume it depends on the severity of the winter?
Last year, we replaced them several times. And, you know, again, it's all, you're exactly right. You're exactly right. I mean, if we have a lot of storms, they get replaced several times. We only have 2 or 3.
During a season?
Yes.
Okay.
But this is assumed to be the year's worth, Jim? Is that?
Yes,
Obviously.
based on an average year.
Yeah, okay.
Whatever that average is.
There is no
We haven't-
average, yeah.
We haven't found that average yet, but that's what it would be.
Okay, is there any further discussion? If not, I'll call for a vote. All that in favor?
Aye.
Aye, thank you. Jim, 8.3, discuss, consider and take possible action on a new operating hours for the waste transfer station. This is interesting.
We've had the same operating hours there forever. It goes back to when we had commercial haulers coming in and we were closed on Wednesdays and half days on Thursdays. And when unfortunately, well, back then, we didn't have as many labor laws or the constraints as we do today. Guys would work longer hours and we would just pay them straight time. Now, if you work over 8 hours, according to Mitch, you have to pay them overtime. So what got built into the process over the years was, even though the guys were only working 40 hours, 3 hours a week were overtime hours. So rather than have that kind of thing going on, and there's no reason for us now to be open 2 days a week at 6:30 to accommodate the commercial haulers. We just want to go in and set the hours of operation. The other thing is we've never paid them for lunch. The guys were expected to work through their lunch. Mitch again tells me that we have to give them a half hour for lunch break. So all those things be considered. I just want to change the hours of operations. It was from 7 to 3:30, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. Everybody can get used to those hours. That way the guys can have a half hour break, which they're entitled to. They go have their lunch someplace and they'll just stagger that, and that's perfectly okay as far as the ongoing operations are concerned. So with the adoption of a revised schedule, we can post it now, give the people about a month's notice, and then start this as effective November 1st, 2014.
Okay, so I think this is important, should we approve this, that the citizens understand this, and this also goes for the town of Madison too, so make sure we get this out there, is that it's Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, same hours, 7 a.m. to 3:30 p.m.
Right,
So we're closed all day Wednesday?
Wednesday
And obviously on Sunday.
and Sunday.
Okay, it's pretty simple.
Pretty straightforward. You don't have to remember if it's open on 6:30 or it's gonna close at 2 and when it goes.
And Thursdays, it's
It's all day.
a short day and that
Yeah,
sort of
right,
thing.
yeah, we get a lot of
Actually
calls.
improving, I think.
Pardon?
Yeah, closing at 11 was strange.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is odd, but again, it was made to accommodate the kids. So this is just, it's easier for the people to remember, they just have to remember they close on Wednesdays, and then the hours are 7 to 3:30.
Okay, so I see-
Actually, yeah.
I see some representatives from the press here. If you help us out getting that word out, we appreciate it. It will be on the website and Facebook and whatever else we use. Okay.
I'll make the motion that we change the hours of operation for the transfer station to Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, 7 a.m. to 3 p.m.
Second,
Wednesdays.
3:30 p.m., second.
See, with all the clearing of the throat, was that seconded?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Okay.
3:30, yeah,
3:30,
that's what I corrected, yeah.
thank you. Motion's been made and seconded. Is there any further discussion on the motion? Okay, see none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all. Okay,
Somebody who's never tried to go there at 6:30 but has loaded my car on a Thursday afternoon to find out that I couldn't unload it, this is a real plus.
you like that, huh?
People like you and I can remember those things.
And we have one more item for Mr. Portley. 8.4, discuss and take possible action on a resolution authorizing the first selectman to sign the Department of Transportation Master Municipal Agreement for the rights of way projects.
Right. Now, this was the master agreement. I had read through it. I know there's other people have concerns about it. I tried in every project to avoid going through DOT's rights of way. We're doing Long Hill Road without their, and they've approved our plan to not go through them. We can elect to do it on our own, and I think it serves our interest to do that because, you know, we just go to the citizens that we don't, generally speaking, have a big problem with that. The only other place, we don't have a right-of-way issue on Westlake Avenue, because we're not going on any properties, we're just using existing pavement. The only possibility would be in some future project, which I can't envision right now, but if it'll expedite the process of getting our projects through by signing this agreement, I just assume get it signed now. I don't know, Pam might have some concerns about it. And they were brought up before. Have any revisions been made to it?
It's similar to another master agreement with DOT where it's take it or leave it.
Yeah.
But I did run it by our insurer who looked over the indemnities and the insurance provisions, and they signed off on it. So, it's not my favorite agreement, but.
Yeah, but if it's all or nothing,
It is.
it's a source of money that we like to tap into once in a while.
We have also raised this issue with the Council of Governments,
Right.
and Council of Governments are not too happy with the position of DOT, but they have gotten nowhere on this, right?
Right, yeah.
And we're at a point now, when we're dealing with state funds, it's either sign it or they don't fund the project.
Why don't you just delay it, and
Yeah.
you keep getting delayed and delayed. Now, these kinds of things, I think if you have problems with any part of their administration or any of their projects, the best thing is just sit down and work them out. Like, they have all kinds of agreements, construction agreements. We found the ability to just sit down and work things out if we come across them, so. I would sign it, let's get going. Pragmatic approach. Never mind all this.
I would move, we've been through this before.
Yeah,
I would
yeah.
move that we authorize the first selectman to sign the master municipal agreement for right-of-way projects.
Second.
As presented.
Motion has been, made and seconded. Is there any discussion on the motion? Seeing none, I'll call for a vote. All those in favor?
Aye.
Thank you, Jim.
Good, thank you.
Jim, I'm going to need you to hang around for the remainder of the meeting, if you don't mind.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Item 9, excuse me, it's catching. 9.1, environmental planner Kevin McGee, consider and take possible action on the sale of 2 town-owned parcels of land originally in the West Lake Shore Development identified as Lot 163 of the Town of Guilford Assessors Map 57, located between 329 Shore Drive and 53 Woodland Road, and Lot 141 on said map located between 301 and 329 Shore Drive pursuant to the sealed bid procedures set forth in Chapter 94 of the Town Code. Discuss potential sale of additional town-owned lots within the same West Lake Shore development. Kevin, good morning.
Good morning. The Selectmen's office had several months ago an inquiry from a resident, Mr. Brody, living up in the Shore Drive area, of purchasing two properties nearest property. As indicated, map 57 lot 141 and map 57 lot 163. Since these are unimproved properties, there's no real street addresses. The properties fall on, this is Woodland Road here, Shore Drive comes down here. This is the northern leg of Shore Drive. They're wooded properties, and one of them is almost a little bit wet also, somewhat wetlands on it. They pose no, the Land Acquisition Commission looked at it, they walked the properties, discussed at their meetings, and indicated they pose real no need for the town of Guilford, or use for the town of Guilford, and recommend that we dispose of these properties, along with several other properties located in the neighborhood.
So, were you talking about those now? No, we're just talking about these, right?
These two properties.
Right, no,
Right
no, I
now-
know, you said several others in the
There's
neighborhood.
others in the neighborhood too, which the commission also looked at.
Okay,
Since we're up there, we decided to look at other empty lots that the town has on our rolls, which determine if they provide any usefulness to the town of Guilford.
but we're not talking about those today.
I think we should.
Oh, that's what I'm trying to
That's
get
what the
at.
last, like, a sentence indicated, discuss
That's what I
additional
mean,
lots
okay.
thereof.
Further down in the agenda, I do have on the correspondence in addition, a memo from the chairman of the Land Acquisition Committee, who advises not doing anything with the other pieces of property.
Okay, not yet, that's
Which
fine.
I'll hand out. You don't have that there, I have it. I'm
Oh,
gonna hand
there's
that
a
out to you.
different one.
There's a different one, okay?
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so
Why is that?
we're
We-
talking about these now, and then maybe a later
We didn't
point.
indicate there was any, no discussion during the meeting of problems with the other ones, besides that they had some sort of
The Sherwood Forest one is a totally different property.
property.
Yeah, Sherwood, yeah,
That's
that's a different one.
That's a
totally
different one.
Yeah,
Excuse me, I'm talking about these here.
right.
Okay.
Yeah, the other properties, some of them have some encroachments on it. But the commission felt that, seeing that there are encroachments on the other ones, they must be valuable to those other neighbors, which may also put up for a good, put those for auction too, because hopefully those neighbors would be interested in taking those properties since they started encroaching on them.
The Land Acquisition actually looked at this, and I forget for what reason, 6 or 8 years ago. These are all parcels that have no economic value, they're too small, they presumably only have value to a neighbor. There's a cost to the town of monitoring them, which means that, Kevin or somebody has to drive by and make sure that nobody has built on them. So there's the possibility of raising some amount of funds.
I don't have a problem with that, you said discuss potential sale of additional, so like what are they? Like what numbers, what?
Okay.
They're on this additional one.
Oh, all right, okay.
Yeah, it's on the attached
It's on
letter,
the attached letter.
Okay.
The additional properties reviewed.
which, I'm not sure if you got this map including your package here, but I sent it over.
We got the map, but
Yeah.
the colors
The colors don't come out.
The colors don't come out.
There's, these two are the properties we're looking at here at the request of Mr. Brody.
Okay.
Right.
The other ones we looked on them on our records for the town of Guilford properties. There's a property just down the street here, on Woodland Road. Two on the corner of Woodland and Long Hill Road, additional ones on Long Hill Road. These here are fairly wet properties, and then, be interested if somebody takes them or not. The only value would be if somebody wanted to increase their lot coverage for some.
So you couldn't build on them?
No, they're not
No,
really.
no.
They're fairly wet properties.
So-
They actually provide probably more benefit for drainage in the area than for anything else. property in the corner of Woodland and the lower leg of Shore Drive. It's kind of a rocky little corner. There's like a 25-foot swath of land here in the corner of Shore and Woodland on the southwest intersection of that one, which we notice that cars are kind of driving over that to kind of get to their parking area. Another little lot here between two houses. This one here is actually at twice over the past 5 years to remove hazardous trees. So that was actually a charge to the town for $3,000 or something like that with the 2 times up there. And then this property here on Shore Drive, it's kind of a steep hill up, and this person here has some encroachments of some sheds and cars being parked on that
The
piece of
person
property
that's on
there.
the right or the
This,
left?
yeah, on the left, I guess.
So, why did the town have them in the beginning? I'm just.
It looks like by quick scan of some of the deeds that we picked them up on taxes.
Oh.
I have to do a little bit more. We have to do a little bit more
Yeah.
work on that, but
The two
a quick
Brody-
scan.
The two that Mr. Brody was interested in dealt with past due taxes.
Oh, okay. Can I
So-
see that?
Yeah.
All right.
And the other ones we haven't done. I scanned a couple of them, but I haven't got to do all the full list of them to verify that those also came from tax sales. This neighborhood is actually a old development, and it's sort of in a camp environment. If you look at the deeds and stuff, 3 little lots may equal a property, or 4 little lots may
Yeah.
equal a property. There's an old sort of created an old summer camp type of.
That's what it reminds me of when
Environment.
you're down there. It's like,
Mm.
you feel like you're,
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
the process would be, because there's.
Pam, you want to come up here?
Thank you. Because, and just talking by example, the 2 parcels that Mr. Brody's interested in, because these are not reserved or used for town purposes under our charter provision that deals with the sale of real estate, then we would go under the ordinance section. And under that section, which is 94-1, then we would offer it by sealed bid procedure, similar to what we did in Quantapug, so that it's not just geared to Mr. Brody, it's
Right.
offered up to anyone who has interest. And then we'd have a sealed bid opening at one of the Board of Selectmen meetings. And under the ordinance, you'd have to award to the highest bid, or you could choose not to award at all. There's also a statute, which also came into play with Quantapug, which requires us to hold a public hearing for the sale of real estate if the property is worth more than $10,000. So the order in which we do this, similar to Quantapug, is we would have a bid opening, and then we'd see the value. And if the value's over 10, then you'd have a public hearing as well. So.
Okay,
So what was the letter, Joe, that you got? Somebody said,
it's right here.
oh, this one, okay.
It was in your packet.
All right, I didn't get it, okay. Because I don't get the hard copy, that's right.
So one of your choices is you could decide, let's take all these properties and seek bids. And it could be, you could bid on one or more of the lots. And then you can kind of decide there. Or you can do it piecemeal. You could do, just start with the 2 parcels that Mr. Brody has an interest in right now. And see how that plays out, and then make your second decision. And then we also have to address the encroachment by certain property owners, which we can do at a later date.
Having focused on this for a while, I just think these are of no value to the town.
Right.
There's a potential economic gain. Some of them may not get bid on, clearly, but we can't get rid of them. But there's no value to have them, as Kevin pointed out. There's a cost there. In some of them, there's a cost to us to own them, because if there's a tree or something that needs to be dealt with, it's at our cost to do it. There's a minor possibility that this might enhance somebody's property value, and their assessment might go up a relatively minor amount, which would have some value. And quite honestly, I also see it as a process that I think we can use in other properties in town, which we own. And we own about 250 different properties, which have no economic value to us, but have a cost. And so if this works well, and the idea of doing two and then coming back and doing others just increases the cost. I mean, if we have to put out
So all at
notices,
once,
if we
you're
have to
saying.
put out, have hearings, there's a cost to all of those. So I would certainly recommend that we do all of these, use it as a template. If it works pretty well, there might be others, that the Land Acquisition Commission could look at, and we put together these sales periodically.
I agree with that.
eliminate.
The only issue is the ones with the encroachments, because that gets a little, we really need to deal with the encroachments.
Well, but they might be the ones that buy it.
That's true.
Right.
So
If
why
the-
deal with the encroachments?
Right.
Why
The
don't you just put it
encroacher
out?
buys it, unless it's a wetlands issue, that solves the encroachments. But yes. it-
Right, why put
Doesn't it-
energy and resource to it until we see?
Right.
I mean, my thought with the encroachment is just sending those neighbors which are encroaching a letter indicating that we're out there walking, we did notice you encroaching on our properties. That may trigger them to say, hey,
Yeah.
like Mr. Brody did,
Yeah.
I'm interested in.
Right.
So it starts raising the interest in those properties.
Joe, I'm sorry, I thought there was a letter saying somebody didn't want to do all of them now.
No,
You're
no,
saying
that's a different
Oh, okay, all right, no, I'm
property.
sorry, that's what I misunderstood.
No, I
I'm
misunderstood.
sorry.
I'm
okay.
sorry, if I misled
Yeah, I
you.
agree with
That's a
Gary,
different
I agree with
property.
Gary's plan.
I agree, so
Somebody-
it's a cleanup,
Somebody want to make a motion to that effect?
Yeah.
I would make the motion that we put all of these properties, prepare the proper documents to put them out to bid, and go through the process as required by Chapter 94 of the Town Code.
By all the
Second.
properties are the ones
All the properties
In
that
the,
are listed in
September 25th letter?
Pam and Kevin's memo of September 25th.
Second.
That would be the, it's
CC
not
the
Pam
town.
and Kevin's.
And those
That's-
are the
That's
ones
the
that
memo
are-
from,
Oh, okay. To
from
you.
the land
From
acquisition.
Steve, I'm sorry, yeah.
Okay.
From Steve to you, with copies to Pam and Kevin.
Right.
Those are the ones that are in red on the map you passed around, right, Kevin?
correct.
These are those?
Yeah, just reference the land acquisition number.
Okay.
Okay.
Is that the motion or?
Yeah, that's a motion made by Gary,
I
and somebody
second
second it?
I second it.
Okay. Is there any further discussion on the motion? All those in favor? Aye. Unanimous. Thank you. Thank you, Kevin. Thank you, Pam.
Thanks, Kevin.
Thank you. Okay, we're up to item 10, appointments and resignations, 10.1.
Yep.
Discuss and take possible action on the appointments to the Housing for Economic Growth Committee. George? Sure, you're always welcome to join us. We can blame you now, but go ahead.
We have a good list of people who've expressed interest in this committee. You'll recall
You have a list?
this is a requirement of the grant that we received to do this plan, that we create a planning committee. We solicited interest. We have a number of people who've expressed interest. I've vetted the list. It looks like a good group of people to me. I think Joe's also done the same.
Yep, I have no problem with this.
From my original sort of general list of people, we're still lacking a developer, which
Yeah.
we'd like to try to find someone. So this would not be the end of the story if you authorize Joe to appoint these folks. We also don't have anybody yet from a disability organization, which I would like to get if we have someone who's willing to serve, like Sarah or some similar group that works in Guilford. Other than those two categories, the names we have represent the various constituencies and interests, at least in my opinion, that might be appropriate to this work. So it's a good start.
So that was my question, George, because I had two people that called me because I put out an email saying people interested following the meeting, and
Okay.
one of them was a developer. So
Okay.
so they
Unless
would.
Joe's heard from somebody, I don't know anybody specifically.
No, he hasn't.
Okay.
He wanted to know the process to apply, so I told him.
okay.
I told him what the process was, and he
Okay.
said he would get it in this week. But
Okay.
so the thing is, I guess my question is, it's still open. You'll still entertain additional people.
That's up to you all,
Right.
but I would
Yeah, I mean,
say-
Tracy has contacted the individual and told him to submit an application. And I guess it was a week ago when I got back.
Yeah,
And he had yet to submit an application, so if you want
I'll
to
follow up.
poke
Yeah.
him a little bit
Yeah.
and tell him to get moving.
Yeah.
we'll entertain it.
Also, Cindy, in your court maybe would be somebody from the Sarah board if they're interested.
That's what I'm thinking too, so I'll ask, I didn't ask
Yeah.
them, so.
Okay.
And the other
I-
question, oh, I'm sorry.
I've spoken with this, I can't remember who I spoke with from Sarah, but I didn't hear
All
back,
right.
so maybe if you could follow up with that.
Yeah, because we
you
have a
might.
meeting tomorrow, that's what I was thinking.
good.
And the second question,
Yeah.
any of these people realtors, did you want to?
One of the persons on the list is a realtor.
Okay, I don't know. Okay.
Card, I think his name is.
Curry?
Curry.
Curry.
Oh, okay.
Curry, excuse
All right,
me.
so we got
I
it
don't
right.
know him, but I believe, I
Okay.
do know he's a realtor.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, so I can follow up with those people. All right,
Okay.
So do we need a motion then to
Yes.
appoint these people?
Yes.
Uh,
You want to read the names and
I
make a
move that
motion?
we appoint Peter Palumbo, Mary Jo Kestner, Edward Siebert, Rob Curry, Randolph Harrison West, Edward Dens, Christy Ruben Dunce, and Joshua Hirschman to the Housing for Economic Growth Committee.
Second.
Is there any discussion on the appointments? All those in favor? Aye. Thank you. Thank you, George. I would suggest that who's ever still interested, get their names into my office as soon as possible, because I'd like to close the appointments out by the next Selectmen's meeting, which is in 2 weeks. Because we want to get moving on this, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you, George. Okay, we've got 11 requests for the use of town property. I have 11.1 through 11.7. Gary, you want to? And I can report that Kevin left. Oh, he's right here. We've had our post expo meeting, and everything went fine. There were a couple of issues, minor issues, I would say, that are going to be corrected for next July, prior to next July's expo.
So you're saying that basically all town departments are happy with the
Yeah.
results of the.
I think one of the things that they were most happy about was the leaving the traffic patterns around the green worked very well. Everybody was happy with that. Right, Kevin?
Correct. Yep, all the departments that were involved with the green setup were at the post-meeting, event meeting.
Right. And I was fortunate to attend, so I can bear witness to that.
I would move that we approve the 5 signs and the 3 uses as listed in the agenda under 11.1 through 11.7.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. The other, number 12, letter from Mr. Goldsmith dated September 25th, 2014, regarding the Sherwood Forest subdivision open space. Cindy, this is what I was referring
Yeah,
to
that's what, I know,
earlier. If I can find it. And this is where they do not recommend that the town purchase this property. Okay. Did everybody get,
Except.
consider accept the Sherwood Forest open space property? Basically, you'll have a copy of this letter,
Yeah.
right? Okay. Any comments on that?
This-
Gary?
This goes back to years back when our land use departments weren't as thorough, not as well staffed and not as thorough in following up on some of the requirements of planning and zoning. And so occasionally you get a situation like this where an open space was not confirmed at the time of development, and now it doesn't seem to make sense to add it. It's of no value to the town, so hopefully, there might be a couple more floating out there, but I know we're doing a better job now of following up on these.
And I just would add, for the record, that also the developer, the historical developer of this property also failed to do certain steps at the
Right.
time. So-
Well, he failed it, and we didn't necessarily have the staff, and, we didn't follow up as well as we might have.
Okay, great, thank you. Any committee reports? Old business? The only thing I would add is that I think the final event for 375 went well.
Yeah.
We had a great day at the parade.
Parade was great, and,
Weather cooperated, and
yeah.
And I think, like I said to Veronica at the beginning of the meeting, once again, the committee did a great job. We're done.
We're
You're
done.
done, okay. Now on to the 400.
Start planning now, Carl.
My grandson can take care of that.
Okay. Public forum, open to any item for 3 minutes. Anybody wishing to address the board? Okay, see none. I'll call for a motion to adjourn. All those in favor? Aye. Thank you all. Jim, I need you to hang around.